What's up, everybody? Hello, Sam Dean, Truth to Tweet, Ryan Johnson, JJ Boy, Emberg 33. What's going on? That was not a black screen, folks. That was deliberate. Welcome, Angela, Holly. No sound. Really, no sound? Holly Horn, Victory Gin, TLK, Josh. Can everybody see it? Here we are. Right. You have sound, dude. You're good. Awesome. Thank you so much. Let me move that now. Whoa. What's up? Folks, a great way to support the show is what Balthazar228 just did. Balthazar, great to see you back here. I haven't seen you in forever. Hit the dollar icon at the bottom, folks, and I will answer your question also for supporting the show. The only good part about can't prosecute being VP is that Snake Warren sold out twice for nothing and has no 2020 platform to jump from. VP, I know. Ha. I know. Sorry, Liz Warren. Just sold out, Liz Warren. If you would have stuck to your, been a real progressive and stuck to your guns, maybe you'd have a better. They sold you down the river. You sold out Bernie. And this is what you get. You get nothing for your deeds. Thank you, Balthazar. What's up, Cat B? How you doing? Matt S. Shave your knuckles for justice. What's the smoothie today? Well, we have a fantastic smoothie. Organic unsweetened almond milk. About a third of a frozen organic banana, and then I got this mixed berry blend. I'll actually show it to you. From Earthbound Farm, which I like the organic triple berry blend, grown without GMO. Looks like there's raspberries, blueberries, and either blackberries or boysenberries. Boom. Look at it. This is all your smoothie needs, kids. This gets you vegan guns. And, of course, the frozen greens, just unsweetened peanut butter, and vegan protein powder. Ba-boom. Went to the co-op today on my bike ride. Got some nice items. Fantastic. Just letting you know, Wednesday the 26th, a week. So 6 days. Yes, will be the I'm going to go live that day, and that'll be the last day I go live for like a week or so. I'm just going to take like a week off. Go do a little traveling. I'll just get out in the world and see it. Just going to put on a hazmat suit and go out into the world. Hello, Melissa H. Hello, progressivenewsdaily.net. Emberg 33, shave your knuckles for justice, Mark. Please cover George Galloway's highlight of my interview with him. The full interview is around 1 hour and 45 minutes. You got it. I'm glad you got to talk to George Galloway about Draft Jesse. Folks, I talk about Movement for a People's Party and I talk about Draft Jesse. Jesse's just talking about running independent. Well, they're trying to draft him. So they need your help. Go to draftjesse.com. It's a great way to get involved. Watching this DNC convention, it's such a disaster. Oh, God. We're going to bring Fiorella on the show in a minute here. Fiorella is going to be on the show because she, we're going to talk to her. What's going on with her? Emberg 33, boom. Jimmy on Flappers Online tonight at 10 p.m. Eastern. Yeah, check that out. Jimmy's going to do a Q&A for Flappers, which I think is probably to help them raise money. They're, a lot of these, I know they got a little stimulus money, but these comedy clubs have big overheads. and we're trying to save them. So Jimmy's doing a show with them. So most of the ticket revenue is going to go to keep Flappers open. They're a 250 seat comedy club that has this cool lounge and then another little like 40 seat room, the Yoo-Hoo room, a big kitchen. They have a huge amount of square footage. And I think they were getting a pretty decent deal from the city of Burbank, but that's just a massive overhead. And, you know, they're doing 2 shows a night and, you know, there's just so much money that they're losing. So Jimmy's trying to support them, which I think is great. So if you can go to that show tonight, 7 o'clock Pacific, 10 o'clock Eastern, Jimmy's doing a Q&A with Steph to help support. And Flappers is a great club. So if you've ever seen a live Jimmy Dore show at Flappers, you know how great it is. If you haven't, you've watched a million clips that come out of that show. And one of the owners is a big lefty, Dave Reinitz. And so they've been very supportive of Jimmy and Ron and I and everything. So it's definitely a club you want to support. Been traveling all day. What happened with Bannon? Boy, I don't know what happened with Bannon. I'm sure we'll get to that. Frank Friel, Frank, shave your knuckles for justice. How far do you think Biden will get into his speech before he gets confused and says his time must be up and walks off in the wrong direction? Boy, I don't know. You know, they got backup plans and they'll just go, oh, technical difficulties. Oh, interference. Oh, now here's Hillary Clinton to talk. Weird. She's going to be ready to go. She's going to be ready to go. Emberg 33, shave your knuckles for justice. Please talk to Fee about Jesse. I will. What's up, Backyard Politics? Will Jimmy be calling folks? Oh, that's funny. Perfecta Foolery Row. Shave your knuckles for justice. Please explain last IG pic. We are dying to know. Oh, I'll tell you what I'm talking about. Instagram pic. Well, first, let me bring Fee on the show. We'll get her ready to go here. Yeah. It's a little bit funny. Hold on. All right. Well, we're waiting for Fee to come to the. We're waiting for Fiorella to come into the StreamYard Political Vigilante studio. Let me talk about. Okay. Oh, this photo? I'll put this on the screen. Oh boy, some of you don't know my sordid past. I will put this on the screen. Are you talking about? Oh no. Oh no. Please explain. You're gonna get an explanation, all right, you son of a. Oh, that's a. All right. Fantastic. Fantastic. I was a game show host a long time ago. I hosted a show on the USA Network called Strip Poker. This is a photo. I was going through a bunch of old photos and getting rid of them. And this is a photo from that set. So this is me. It was on the USA Network between 99 and 2001 or 2002. Yeah, it was they had me look like Vince Vaughn from Swingers, and even with the long sideburns. Yep, it was a lot of fun. We did 195 episodes. There's clips of it on YouTube. Go look, just type in Graham Elwood strip poker and you'll see some clips. You'll see some clips, folks. When I do game show host, it's no joke. I hosted this show and I hosted the show Cram on the USA Network. Yeah, that's right. Could have had a crazy big show business career, but then I'd be some blue check Hollywood neoliberal going, anyone who doesn't vote for Biden is letting Trump win. We're never going to hold the Democratic Party accountable. We're just going to blame progressives. I'd be one of those idiots. So, that's the explanation of that last pick. And I was captain of my football team. Yeah. Yeah, there is a high school. I posted some. Let's see. There are some. I posted one of my high school. Yeah, I found all these old photos. Like all these old photos. Like when I was at the Super Bowl, like meeting. Yeah. All this stuff. Yeah, I posted a photo of the captain of my football team. Oh boy, that was yep. I was all those things. I was a little bit of a meathead. Let's see if I can get that for you. Yeah, this is the one that was on my Instagram. That's 17-year-old Graham right there. Boy. Oh, boy. We'll read a couple more super chats, and then we'll bring Fiorella from the Convo couch out the program. Into the political vigilante world headquarters. Satellite beamed. I like making the show sound bigger than it is. Multi-satellite uplink. Me too. Shave your knuckles for justice. Thank you for supporting the show. Maria Rinaldi. Hey, Maria. Ciao bella. Thank you so much. Freezing cold in Melbourne. I love this weather. I turned 41 in 4 days, and Tim Tams are one of the greatest creations ever. It is hot here in Southern California. Hot. And I live at the beach. It never gets that hot. So none of the apartments have air conditioning. And there's about 2 weeks out of the year where it's a little uncomfortable. This is one of those weeks. I have a fan blowing on me right now, and it's just keeping me from not being too squelty hot. Like it's not really like cool. All right, let's see. Matt, shave your knuckles for justice, Matt. Most conservatives I chat with that are hardcore pro-capitalist just blanket all socialism as communism. I'm learning here that's not the case. Well, Matt, first of all, give yourself credit that you come on this show and you ask questions and you even debate, and you're waking up to the fact that you've been lied to. We've all been lied to, Matt. We've all been lied to. We were told through decades of propaganda coming from the State Department on down to equate socialism, which just means workers own the means of production, with totalitarian communism. That's what we've been told. And so when people say that, they're just repeating things that they've been lied to about. So I'm just give yourself credit for being open enough to come watch a show and ask questions and be willing to hear, because we've all been lied to, dude. All been lied to. Vera Romano, super sticker. Thank you, Vera Romano. You're a super sticker. You're my favorite super sticker. Frank Friel, boom, shave your knuckles for justice. Did they make you wear that shirt on the show? Yes. I had a whole wardrobe of these big, crazy bowling shirts on Strip Poker. And about, I don't know, 10 years ago, maybe longer. I was like, I got to get rid of these. And then somebody offered me and they bought all of them. I sold them to some guy online. It was insane. All right. Hello from Northern California. You need you some Graham today. You got it, Robert Pukire. Oh, Elwood t-shirt in the freezer. That's how I deal with it. Nice. Maggie Craggy. All right, let's bring Fiorella into the program, ladies and gentlemen. Let me... all right, folks. Please hit the like button. We have 242 people watching. And I'm going to tell you in a sec how many, and make sure we hit the like button. And like and subscribe. Like and subscribe. Make sure you hit the bell notification button. And join us, of course, tomorrow at 4 o'clock. We will do Government Secrets with Lee Camp. Ladies and gentlemen, Lee Camp. Lee Camp doing Government Secrets. Government Secrets, Lee Camp. 130 likes, 258 watching. Let's get that like button going. Let's get it going. All right, folks. Thank you, Dimitri. All right. Let's welcome onto the show from the Convo couch, Fiorella. Hey, Fee. How you doing?
How you
doing?
Can
you hear me?
I can.
Okay. There. Can you boost your volume a touch?
Yes. Is it? Let me see. Is that better? Can you hear me better?
That is a little bit better. Everyone in the chat, let us know if you can hear her. Okay. So real quick, I'm going to answer Sam Dean. Save your knuckles for justice, Sam. America melds third world poverty with first world technology violence. It gives high-grade weapons to essentially an untrained governmental militia. Yep, that's America. We're going insane. Everything's going insane here. So, Fee, welcome to the show. It's great to have you on the show. How have you enjoyed this Democratic convention?
So, being media, we have to watch certain clips of it, I guess, to discuss it. It was really difficult to watch a 20-minute speech by Barack Obama, who he is one of the most warmongering presidents we have ever had. Continued George Bush's wars, as you know, enabled one of the largest transfers of wealth from the working class to the 1%. And he's sitting there on his pulpit talking about the soul of our nation and how Joe Biden's going to get this done. And then I go online and I see people, oh my God, that was such a wonderful speech by Barack Obama. And I'm just like, you know what? We deserve every little bit of injustice we get with Donald Trump, because people still haven't learned their lesson. I mean, the fact that this guy did so much damage, the fact that he is one of the reasons we have Donald Trump today, and people are still focused on how well the speaker he is, it's disgusting to me. And just seeing the capitulation of people like AOC, like AOC, who is praising Kamala Harris, saying she's going to do whatever she can to elect her. The manipulation that she did by nominating Bernie Sanders, knowing that it was symbolic, and then double downing on that, saying, oh yeah, but it was symbolic. I support Joe Biden. What's the point of electing people like her into Congress if they're going to continue doing this? And yet you have people still praising Barack Obama because he's a great speaker. And I just come to the realization, I think a lot of us have, that as awful as Donald Trump is, I hate the Democratic Party more, because as they were having this convention, Graham, they were stealing another election in South Florida with Debbie Wasserman Schultz. I mean, this is a Democratic Party. They get on one end and they talk about solutions via symbolic platitudes. That's their solution, saving the soul of the nation. because they can't dare talk about policy because their policies are completely out of the picture because they don't have any. Because their whole policy is we're not Donald Trump. And that's supposed to save working people. I don't give a shit how great of a speaker Obama is when people are still going to be evicted from their homes. We're in the middle of a pandemic and Congress went on vacation. I mean, this is the anger that most people are feeling. And then you get told, well, you can't be angry. Stop being angry. But Trump, but Trump, but Trump. And it's like the younger generations that I think aren't gonna stop being angry. They're just not gonna stop because there's no other way. There's a planet and it's dying at this point. That's where the stakes are
Yeah.
at.
I think you bring a great point. Unfortunately, it's like my generation and up, the Gen Xers and up are still thinking, they still watch traditional media. They still believe all this crap that is fed to them by the traditional media and think that Obama is so great because this is what they know. And they still, it was all people mainly in my age group who when Kamala when Kamala was announced, all went, yay. And I was like, oh God. And you're right. The young people are the ones, your age group and younger is the ones getting screwed the most. Your future's been hijacked. It's been taken from you. You're not going to have one. You're going to have to, if you do have one, it's going to be some kind of Civil War nightmare hellscape. And you shouldn't be happy with this because the Democratic Party is the problem. I mean, it is but when you about Trump, yeah, Trump, we all know how awful he is. He was the most beatable guy. He's beatable now. If the Democratic Party had gotten behind Bernie Sanders, and Bernie Sanders also didn't quit, and AOC was the person we thought she was going to be, and Bernie was going to the person we thought she was going to be. Right now, Bernie would be getting the nomination, and it would be like he would have a 15 to 20 point lead in the polls because he would be going, I'm going to give you Medicare for all. I'm going to give you UBI and lay out the policies that have failed under Trump, not rather than just Trump bad and the integrity of the White House. Really, when Obama put 3 million people, when he deported 3 million people, when him and Biden built cages and separated families at the border, don't tell me about your integrity. I can't listen to they just, it's literally, it's like when I was a kid in the 80s, and the American car companies were getting their asses kicked by the Japanese because they kept making bad cars. And Americans were like, I'd love to buy American, but you're making bad cars. And then they would say they blame Japan. And I remember driving through Michigan and somebody had a Japan sucks hat. And I was like, you're losing. I mean, like, what, like, it's exactly. Unbelievable to me. Are you, it's like, are you mad that Tom Brady beat you, or do you think you want to get your team better? It's unbelievable. Like, they just make excuse after excuse after excuse. And the people don't want to acknowledge these vote any blue will do people. And I am a little bit at that point too. Like, I want to see change, but it's almost like, okay, this is what you assholes get, man. We've been screaming from the mountaintops. And if Biden loses, they're going to blame you. They're going to blame me. They're going to blame Jimmy. They're going to blame Abby Martin. They're going to blame all of us. And okay, you guys refuse to acknowledge that. The only analogy I can make that wakes some of them up is I go, you know how white people are waking up to systemic racism and the police brutality? Like, anybody who grew up in the suburbs and thought, well, the cops aren't that bad. And then they went out and protested in late May and into June and got their asses kicked by the cops, went, oh, okay, and they're going, no, there's systemic racism. No, it's not a few bad apples. The vote any blue will do crowd that refuses to acknowledge the corruption of the Democrats it's the same thing as the people who are like, hey, I don't, not all cops are bad. A few bad apples. There's not systemic. They're just as in much denial as that.
Exactly. And Kamala Harris, like let's highlight her for a minute, going in there talking about, all of a sudden she rarely ever mentioned it, mentioning her Indian heritage, right? Like tokenizing her own identity, because that's what works. So great. I'm so glad we're going to have a female VP that's going to incarcerate people of color. That makes it so much better. I'm sure the bombs that are going to be dropped in the Middle East continuously, because Joe Biden's going to continue this disastrous foreign policy. giving the military industrial complex even more control, I'm sure those people are going to feel so much better that a Democrat is dropping those bombs rather than a Republican. And it's this idea that like, oh, I'm a woman of color, I'm going to be president. It is putting a superficial symbolic purity on top of vile actions, and that's all the Democratic Party is good for. And unfortunately, you're right, a lot of people do swallow it. And I think I'm at the point where I think we need the Democratic Party to fall on its face in order for people to realize how bad this is, because otherwise I think we're going to continue herding people back into the Democratic Party. I think AOC and people like her are there to do that. They're there to herd people back into the party so you don't build outside. And that's what we need to be doing. We need to be building outside right now. That's where our power is. General strike movements. People are trying to do that. And I think that's where we need to go and not waste our time trying to prop people up like the AOCs or the squad, who have honestly failed in their opposition to people like Nancy Pelosi because they're too scared to oppose her because of the repercussions that might happen to them career-wise.
Yeah, and they tell themselves, hey, I'm going to get these little wins in there. I got a job inside of a drug cartel, and hey, I make sure the drug cartel stops selling outside of school. So, hey, that's a win. Rather than, no, you shouldn't be working in a goddamn drug cartel. You should stop working and selling poison. And they keep telling themselves that they're doing good things. And like literally, for me, I've been done with this two-party system for a long time. And Bernie was the only one that went, I didn't vote. I didn't register as a Democrat in 2016 but I California, you can. And then I heard that my ballot might have even been purged. So I re-registered with the Democratic Party for the first time in years. In 2020, and then Bernie quit, and I was like, that's it, I'm done. I'm just done. But I want to go into specifically, you were talking about Jen Perlman, who I've had on this show, was running against Debbie Wasserman Schultz. And of course, the Democrats put on a big show while they're screwing somebody over, and nobody talks about. They're screwing over a woman, Debbie Wasserman Schultz, one of the most evil, corrupt people who was fired by the DNC. This is the thing that just drives me fucking insane, that they're still talking about Russia. And I'm like, these are facts. Debbie Wasserman Schultz was fired as the head of the DNC because of the Podesta emails, and then hired by Hillary Clinton, right? Donna Brazile, fired by CNN for cheating. And now she works for Fox News. And they just, but Trump's bad. And I'm like, okay, so why don't you give us a couple of the details about how they were cheating again in Florida? They cheated Tim Canova 4 years ago. Or 2 years ago, I forget. They've cheated him so many times. I forget what years Tim Canova's been cheated. And tell us what they were doing.
So initially, they had several polling centers. Obviously, one of the polling centers we went in to go there. We had our credentials. We had the camera.
In Florida.
In Florida, yes. So this is South Florida. This is a congressional district that has Broward County. This is the district that Jen Perlman is running against Debbie Wasserman Schultz and was running against her. And this district majorly includes parts of slightly north of Miami and up to Broward County. Now, this district is heavily Jewish, and it's heavily what went for Debbie the last couple times because she did rig it in her favor again against Tim Canova. The second time Tim Canova ran as an independent, and I do have to admit that it is very difficult to win as an independent in Florida. It's just the way the system is set up. But there was still a lot of things that happened as well. And so we get into this polling center, and we had our credentials set up. And then we were told that we couldn't go in because media wasn't allowed. And we were like wondering, why the hell aren't we allowed in? We've been allowed in every other polling center. And first of all, this polling center is like a gated community. So if this is your polling center, you have to like get in a car line, go through security, show your ID, be let in, and then you get to vote, which is already a problem in itself because you shouldn't have to go through that whole process just to vote. And so we tried to find another way in. So we did find a way in, and we get in. And we pull up to where all the volunteers are for the various candidates. And of course, Debbie Wasserman Schultz happens to be there, the area where no media was allowed, right? And we went in because we said, oh, we were just voters. So we had taken out all of our credentials and stuff. And she walks right up to the car and is like, surprise is pasta, because it's funny because there's all these things that you want to say to Debbie Wasserman Schultz, like, you're a vile person, you're the reason, like, Bernie Sanders lost and blah blah blah, and you want to say all these things to her, and then he was just like really cordial, and he was like, so what are you doing here? And she goes, well, I'm trying to win, I'm trying to get reelected. And she just seems like the lady that you would know she wouldn't hurt a fly. And she's over there with her people trying to get the young people to vote for her, because she had found out that Jen Perlman was gaining a lot of ground on her, a lot of traction on her. And so she was just there. And previously, I don't know if you heard, she had assaulted a 16-year-old
Yes.
volunteer for Jen Perlman. And so she was watching her back, and eventually she was escorted out in a black car. But moments later, there had been actually a couple of hours later, in this location called Dania Park, there had been ballots that ran out at the location. So this is the usual voter suppression typical thing that happens. They run out of ballots at a location, and it's getting late. The polls close at 7. People are still in line. And so we get a call from Jen Perlman's campaign people, and they're like, hey, you guys should go there. They've run out of ballots, and they're going to close the poll soon, and people are still in line. So we get there, and according to a statute that is part of the law in Florida, once the polls close, you as a member of the public, can observe the count of the votes. So of course, Pasta, myself, and Johnny go in there, and Pasta and Johnny go in, and they're told, okay, we're going to give you a tour, and then you are allowed to observe the counting of the ballots. So on top of being members of the public, we're also media. So they get told, okay, you're fine to be in there. Moments later, a guy gets a phone call, and he's on the phone, and then he starts screaming, hey, no, they can't be in here. They can't be in here. So somebody got on the phone and said, get these people out of there. They're not allowed to observe it. And Pasta's pulling out the statute. He's like, no, this is the law. This is it. And they were like, we don't care about your statute. They physically shoved them out of the room. And the woman, there was 3 poll workers. One of them was a woman. She was saying, oh, they have the right to be here. This is the law. But the guy didn't care. And they were pushed out of the room. And we caught all of this on video. You guys can see it on my Twitter. And they didn't let us view the counting. And then we went to another location that was closed, that was supposed to be open for you to view the counting. And so we probably know, we've been following the elections all over California, all over Los Angeles. Mm-hmm. And these are things that are supposed to be publicly transparent. I mean, we're supposed to be seeing these ballots get counted and transported. And the way that it was being done was shady. I mean, they started putting the machines back in a budget, moving rental car and moving it to another location. And so we were trying to figure out what exactly is happening and how these ballots are being transported, because Tim Canova caught Debbie Wasserman Schultz transporting them illegally, with not more than 2 people. There were supposed to be at least 2 people there. And they completely just didn't let us get in there. I mean, we were, Pasta was shouting, we care about elections. We want, democracy. And what's really unnerving, Graham, is that the Democratic Party, at the same time this is happening, is getting on a pulpit and talking about how Donald Trump and Russia are trying to steal our elections, when they are the ones doing this. And so as we're getting results, Jen Perlman had a few people, like Lori Jones, that were watching the videotapes of the results. So as the results were coming in, there was a tape of how the results were laid out. And what she was seeing, and what others were seeing as well, was that the tabulation of the results showed that more people were voting in the judge race, the races for the judge, which were all the way at the bottom, 2 to 3 times more people than for Jen Perlman and Debbie Wasserman Schultz's race, which is the first one on the ballot, number 1. And it's the largest, most media, most of the media knows about their race. She's a big, she's a big honcho in that area. Somehow the judges' races were voted on 2 to 3 more times. I don't know about you, Graham, but sometimes even myself, I don't know all the judges that I'm supposed to vote
Yeah,
for
there's
when I
no
go. Well,
way more people were voting for judges than they were for Congress. There's no way.
but that's those are the results. And so uh, by the time we were still at the polling location, the New York Times had already called it for Debbie Wasserman Schultz overwhelmingly, like she had 75% of the vote. And that was that. I mean, there you go. There goes another election. And at the very least, the way we were treated for doing something that was completely legal, just like watching and observing the counting of ballots, if you have nothing to hide, why is this such a big deal? And Debbie Wasserman Schultz keeping the media away when just because she was at this location, she normally runs away from the media. That's why it was so funny that we ran into her, because she's like Tom Perez. It's so hard to get a hold of her. And so it's the hypocrisy of the Democratic Party talking about Russia meddling in our elections, talking about Republicans and Donald Trump with the vote by mails, when we have found tubs of uncounted ballots in Wisconsin. I mean, this isn't a joke. And so how do you tell young people that you want them to vote for Joe Biden when they go and exercise their vote and they can't find their polling location, they run out of ballots, and then they can't even witness people like Lori Jones, who's 19 years old. They start seeing these inconsistencies, and they're like, well, what's the point in participating in this sham if it's unfair? There's no justice here. This isn't a republic. It's not a democracy. This is nothing. We're a giant corporation, and they don't respect any elections integrity. And the Democrats do just as much cheating as the Republicans. So
yeah, I mean, and again, the vote any blue will do crowd refuses to hear that. They'll hear it and they'll go, yeah, but Trump's bad, and you'll go, okay, you're just like, so it's okay if my team cheats, but if the other team does, then it's bad. It's just like they're still right. trying to blame Russia. It's
unbelievable.
It's unbelievable. But you know what? If they're this dumb, this is what part of me is like. I hope Biden wins, so that everybody, the economy is going to tank, and no matter what. And when people are protesting and federal cops are beating the shit out of people and snatching them up in an unmarked vans, then it's like, what? You can't blame Trump anymore when it's Kamala and Biden. What are you going to do then? Like, I just want to go, what are you going to do? You're going to, because then maybe they'll wake up. I don't know what it's going to take, but like, I don't know. They're just as delusional than the crazy Trumpers, but in some ways it's worse because they're mainly college educated, and they think they're so woke, and they think they're so got their finger on the pulse of it. But the reason they can say vote any blue will do is, quite honestly, especially in Hollywood, some of them friends of mine, I listen to their tweets and I'm just like, because you know what? 3 million people getting deported didn't affect them. And the media didn't talk about it. When they did, they went to sleep. And the drone strikes in the Middle East and taking us from 2 wars to 7, 85,000 dead kids in Yemen didn't affect them. 6 million to 8 million foreclosures didn't affect them. Losing their healthcare doesn't affect them. It just doesn't. Like, when they lose their union healthcare from writing on TV shows and that stuff, maybe then they'll go, oh, like when they lose their nice white collar jobs, they'll go, oh, maybe, oh, gee, I don't know when they're gonna.
Right. It has to really hit him where it hurts. I think that's. But do you think people are going to be out protesting en masse if Joe Biden is president? I just fear that people are just going to be lulled back into the Obama years, because again, Biden is a representation of Obama. I mean, he's just like an extension of it. Like, I was having this discussion with Ron yesterday on his show. Like, there is a possibility that seeing how bad a Biden presidency might wake people up. But there's also the possibility of that Biden presidency literally just putting people back to brunch, right? Like, just trying to like get that normalcy back in there, because I think the Democrats are going to do whatever they can to make Joe Biden look far and ahead, so much symbolically, at the very least, better than Donald Trump. They're not going to do anything policy wise, but they're going to symbolically make that happen. So I kind of feel that I think we need the Democratic Party to lose. It's hard to say right now. It's hard to say. None of us really know, but it's good to have these discussions, because I frankly, after I'm in Florida still, we're going to do a couple of interviews with some election integrity activists. And what I'm seeing here is that Donald Trump is going to win. I am not seeing a heavy Joe Biden presence or a movement towards Joe Biden. Most people don't trust the Democratic Party. I
He's
really
not
don't
excited. No,
see.
he doesn't excite anybody. I mean, even Hillary had the excitement of the first female president. I mean,
Right.
all of her corporate stuff, her warmongering, all that stuff, you still could go, well, there's still something, well, first female president. I mean, just like that's significant. And I like, there's none of that for Joe Biden. I mean, that's why
Yeah.
they put Kamala there, because it's like, there might be some, first female,
Woman of color. Yeah.
woman of color VP. Okay. And then she'll be president. And but there's just they have no excitement. And the thing is, like, will people go back to brunch if Biden and Harris win? Very what they could. What will get them off of their couches and out of the brunch is they will be forced, because this economy is going to collapse. Like 28 million evictions are coming, and it ain't just going to be the poor and the working class. I mean, it's going to be people who had really good figure jobs and their savings is done. Like that, you should have 6 months worth of savings. Well, that's almost out. So then what? And I think it might force them off. But to play the other side here, I wonder if the Democratic Party is deliberately tanking because two reasons. One, then Nancy Pelosi stays in power because she can still run on, you got to donate to me to stop Trump. Like they can all make that money that resists Trump money.
Yeah.
And then they're also sitting there going, the economic collapse is coming no matter what. So if Trump's in office, we can just put it around his neck. And
that's true.
Kamala runs in 2024, whatever their crazy plan is. Somehow Hillary's like, how can I get into the White House? Somehow she's trying to figure that out. So that's the thing. Like, I don't. There's no good outcome here.
Right.
There's no, and this is what, and people that are still drinking this two-party lesser of two evils Kool-Aid. Like at a certain point, yes, we've all been lied to. We've all been propagandized, but I don't understand how you go through 2016, even if you were a big Hillary supporter, and then go, yep, let's do that again. Like I don't understand how you just refuse to look at the corruption. I had friends of mine who voted for Bernie in the primary, but they're still and they're still telling me like, but don't you think Russia? And I'm like, they're like, they'll ask me questions because they watch this show a little bit and they'll be like, but what about Russia? And I'm like, they went in front of Congress and Congress said they spent $100,000 on Facebook ads. Google said they spent $4,700. There's no fucking way. Putin did not prevent, like I've said this, I've been saying this, we're all broken records for the last 4 years. And they refuse to look at the Podesta emails. Because if Rachel Maddow doesn't put the Podesta emails out there, they're not going to, then they think it's just hooey. And then what did they do? Yeah. Oh, Julian Assange is tied to Russia. Or like they just tie Russia to anything. And they just, this is the government you deserve. And I just like, you neoliberals, you vote any blue will do, who like, but I know Biden's awful, but what am I supposed to do? Vote for Trump? And I say, vote for a third party. Yeah, but that never works. Yeah, because none of you do it. Because you all vote any blue will do. That's why it doesn't work. So you deserve this. You deserve this complete collapse. You deserve all of it. Like they don't want to wake up to the NDAA that Obama signed in 2011. They don't care. They don't care that Occupy Wall Street had the shit beat out of them. They don't care what happened at Standing Rock. They don't care. They just refuse to do it because Obama's tweets are nice.
Right.
Yeah,
and that's the sentiment we have to defeat, that symbolic platitude that these people lead with. But I think that's in itself going downhill because, like I said, the younger generations don't buy that. They know it's an act. I mean, it's very obvious once you realize what this is, that this is all a game and this is all an act to them. They'll be fine no matter who's president. It doesn't matter. They'll be set. It is the people who are going to suffer. And I mean, I think we're seeing movements to have general strikes. I think that's a necessity, actually, more than ever, because if we don't hold these people accountable, and the only way to hold them accountable isn't through voting. Like voting is only one thing you can do. It is the most minimal effort that you can make. You have to take direct action. And these people need to respond. I mean, they went on fucking vacation, for crying out loud. And they're making Trump look like the a martyr every single time. And that's what's worse, is that you're making people leave the Democratic Party. I don't know if you know a few people like this, but I know a few people that are like, I'm just going to vote for Trump because I hate the Democratic Party so much. I haven't gotten to that point. I don't think I ever will get
Right.
to that point where I'm going to vote for another, neocon because of the neoliberal. But I do feel like I understand why people are doing that. And that is the worst thing you can do. They're so bad at their job, these Democrats, that they're pushing people into the arms of these neo-fascists. And
And
it is really, it's crazy that that's happening, but that's exactly what's happening.
well, people are getting pushed, like they're pushing people into that, for starters. And then you've got the Lincoln Project, which is endorsing Joe Biden, which shows you how much of a Republican Joe Biden is. But like, it also shows you, like, look how bad Trump is. That the, like, Reagan Republicans, not the crazy evangelical, gun nuts, but the, like, Reagan Republicans, I call them. The Reagan Republicans are like, Trump's out of control. You put anybody out there, like Bernie would have. They just don't. They don't. They
Well,
don't.
they didn't want to win. Like, if it was about winning, they would have put Bernie at the helm, or even somebody like Bernie as a VP, or somebody progressive.
Right.
But they don't care to win because they just want to maintain the system. So yeah, there's just no going about it any other way. I mean, the outcome that we're going to have is going to be horrible either way, whether Trump or Biden wins. And I think it's just, we need to, like, step away from the DNC and their little games and their little manipulations and start focusing on what we can do as a people, because the time is ripe to do something, Graham. Like, the time is there, and we have to take these actions and do them.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm here talking with Fiorella from the Convo couch. And we've been discussing how, like, I've barely watched this convention. And when they started trotting out Republicans and war criminals to outright Donald Trump, they're attacking Donald Trump from the right, saying he's not strong enough militarily. Like, he's still bombing 7 countries. Like, the fact that he didn't increase that number is like Colin Powell, who lied about the Iraq war, lied us. He was a Republican with Bush. Like, who? That's the guy. You're John Kerry, who voted for the Iraq war and said John Kasich, who's a Republican. What I mean, like, it's unbelievable to me. Like, I mean, it's too bad Alexander Haig isn't still alive. Like, it's just, I can't believe this. And they just, and dummy Democrats just go, yeah, this is a win. No, vote any blue will do it. I can't, this is a good strategy. No, when, like, the neoliberals, you have to call, when they call out, oh, you're supporting Trump, just go, so then you like war. Are you in favor of war? Then be quiet, because they don't care that we keep drone striking the Middle East. But I want to talk to you about, because we could go on and on about the disaster of the DNC and this ridiculous circus that is their convention that I can barely watch. Like, I can barely watch highlights of it. So there's some movement. There's movement for a People's Party. And then there's also Draft Jesse, which is interesting. And it's a very much a long shot. I don't know if you've spoken to anybody from that organization. They're trying, for those of you who just are hearing about this, go to draftjesse.com. And what Draft Jesse is, of course, because we have such a broken, rigged election system, you can't just write in anybody. Many states don't even allow write-in ballots, write-in candidates. And the states that do, there's 39 of them. You have to have a pre-selected list of potential write-in candidates. Otherwise, it won't count. Like, it's just like you write Mickey Mouse, or it'll be the equivalent of writing Mickey Mouse. They don't give a shit. So there's 39 states that just need a handful of electors in each state to get Jesse. And if he's on these 39 ballots, there's 400 electoral votes, which that's enough to win. And all of the people who are fed up, the people who are like, I hate the Democratic Party, I'm going to vote Trump. I hate Trump, the Lincoln, I'm going to vote for Biden, or whatever. All those libertarians, all the independents that might not vote, they would come on board with a Jesse Ventura, especially if he picks somebody like Nina Turner or even Tulsi Gabbard as his VP pick. So what do you think about the Draft Jesse movement? I know it's such a Hail Mary, like, it's such a long shot, but it is intriguing, and they still have a shot. How do you see this?
I mean, I think people are just looking for anything at this point. We're all desperate. We're all trying to find anything that will, at the very least, form a sort of real opposition to the establishment, to the oligarchy. I mean, I'm all for people trying whatever they can, because at this point, what do you have to lose? One of them is going to be president if none of this works. So I think it would be smart. I think it would have been awesome if the Green Party had nominated somebody like Jesse Ventura as well, but we know how that went, and it's unfortunate that at this moment, we have a lot of the left that's really fragmented. We have people that are,
There's no
the Green
leadership.
Party. There's no leadership. There's all these ideas and all these great things happening, but we really need to reach down to a lot of the people on the ground. There's a lot of media stuff going on. Social media isn't real organizing as far as like on the ground. And so I think what I would like to see is realistic expectations. Would really like to see actual movement building on the ground. And that's kind of what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping at the very least that we can show that there's so much discontent for the choices we've been given and Joe Biden and Donald Trump. I think that insurgency, like that sort of opposition and protest, is really important for the establishment to see, because if they start seeing that, that's when they get scared. When they start seeing people really like not vote for them, I predict we're going to have the lowest election numbers we've ever had, because Joe Biden, as you said, is one of the most uninspiring people out there. But on top of that, it's a pandemic, it's economic crisis. Nobody likes Trump or Biden. So I think we're going to see a very low turnout. But if we use that low turnout to actually have people say, no, we want Jesse Ventura, or we want to support Movement for the People's Party, which is the other one that people are kind of coalescing behind, then I think it's going to say something. At the very least, it's a statement. But I say electoral politics only goes so far. I mean, I think even if we nominate somebody like that, they cheat. The system, it's a catch-22, because they cheat, and the system is rigged, and it's rigged because it's functioning as it should. And as for the oligarchy, so in order to change that system, I don't think we're going to do it through the electoral politics. I think we're going to have to do it through mass protest. And the shitty part is that Americans don't know how to do that. I mean, you look at France, you look at Europe, you look at the Middle East, people rise up and they fight for what they believe in. They have done their constitution multiple times, but in America, we don't do that. We really, we don't know how to do that. We're scared. We are afraid. And so we need to break through that wall and actually go and have direct actions. I think no matter who you support, whether it's Jesse Ventura, whether it's a third party candidate. We've interviewed also Mark Charles, who's a great candidate. There's another candidate for Peace and Freedom, Gloria La Riva, that we're going to be interviewing. I mean, there's all these things happening. And I think it's just, we have to look beyond electoral politics right now.
Well, you bring up a great point. Like, so much, there's been a lot of positive stuff that's come since the, might even been the last time you were on this show, was that first week of the George Floyd protest. And there's been some movement. There's been some, some city councils have changed, some stuff like that. But again, it's like, I thought that was going to be it. That week, those weeks and months are going to be like, this is it. Yeah. This is the revolution. This is where people are going to go, no. And they've had enough. And I give especially the young people that were protests. You were at many of them. Shot with rubber bullets, tear gas, got their asses kicked and kept showing up for more. But then, like you say, they still don't know. Like, I saw a video in Belarus and a bunch of cops started beating on a guy, and like 100 people surrounded these cops and went, and just kicked and like, the cops will start beating on one person and everyone will videotape it in America and go, oh, that's awful. And wait till the cops amass numbers and then everyone runs out. It's like, no, man, you've got these guys 100-1, like, swarm them. I'm sorry. Yeah. Like, it's going to take, you watch the protests in France and you'd see guys just boom, boom, just like throwing haymakers at cops and just saying, no, we're not going to do this. I mean, like what happened in Tiananmen Square, like somebody just standing in front of a tank going, sorry. And I've seen a lot of bold stuff in these protests, but again, they're very skilled, the ruling class, at dividing the left. Yeah. Very skilled at it. I doubt all of the Howie Hawkins shenanigans with the Green Party was just like people being petty. I mean, human beings can be insanely stupid and petty, and that's why the human race might go extinct. I don't know what that noise is.
Yeah. I don't know. Something just turned on. I'm sorry. I don't know how to. Can you turn it off? Sorry. Can you please turn that off? Okay.
Um,
Hold on, we're turning that off really
okay.
quickly.
To ensure Toby's first exposure to the board is a positive one, Brandon acclimates him with.
Okay.
Okay, so as I was saying, I find it hard to believe that like the infighting of the Green Party was just like infighting. I wouldn't be surprised if private intelligence, that's what they
Yeah.
done. You look at, I covered this on a government secrets episode with Lee Camp of the COINTELPRO, which is the counterintelligence program the CIA started in the 50s, and they infiltrated the Black Panthers. They infiltrated the KKK. They've infiltrated everybody. I have no doubt that they have people in the Proud Boys. I have no doubt they have people in Antifa. They have no doubt in the Green Party, Black Lives Matter. I have no doubt. And their job is to just keep everybody fighting within each other so that nobody gets together and unifies and says, them, the 1%, they're the problem. The day the like, you know, the American flag, Second Amendment conservative and the lefty get together and go, you know what, Mitch McConnell, Nancy Pelosi, you're done. The minute they get together is the minute the ruling class is in deep, deep trouble. So they have to do whatever they can.
That's a great point because, like I said, in Florida, there are a lot of Republicans here, just as there are in certain parts of rural of the West, you know, rural West. But if you talk to them directly, policy wise, like, hey, you know, Nancy Pelosi, yeah, sucks. Yeah, she's awful. These Democrats are awful. They're like, oh, yeah, we totally agree with you. You can have these conversations and put it in a way to where if they're a Republican that is fiscally conservative, you're like, look, we're going to be saving a lot of money if we actually put things like a healthcare system where everybody's covered for the basic. That's, you know, that's not anything out of the ordinary. You just have to explain it in a way that people understand, because at the end of the day, most people in America support a Medicare for all system. It is just how it's explained to them that matters. And it's also, most people in America, I don't think are awful people. I just think they're the loudest voices are the ones that get all the attention. And the Democrats live in their little echo chamber where they think that, you know, attacking Republicans every 5 seconds and calling everybody a racist and pretending that, you know, Joe Biden is such a popular candidate exists. Yeah, it exists in their echo chamber, same as the Trump supporters who think that Trump can do nothing wrong are in their own echo chamber. But I think most people that you talk to on the street agree that's this is not okay, that we need to help small businesses. Like, nobody really addressed small businesses during the pandemic. I mean, like, that wasn't addressed at all. Half of the small businesses in LA aren't coming back. They're not. And this is a crisis here. And we're not addressing, we could pull so many people who are libertarians or who are on the right, but they're just done with the system, into the left by talking about policy and actual change and working through these discussions. But the liberals just want to bash and bash and bash. And so this is not how it works. And so, like, I think if we're able to do that, you're right, that's when they're going to be scared, when we can come together.
The neoliberals are the worst. I mean, Malcolm X said it, you know, 50 some years ago. I mean, and they keep getting in the way, and the Democratic Party has completely disavowed itself from the working. Both parties, the Republicans, Democrats, both do not give a damn about working class people. The Republicans are a little better at masking it. They're a little better at like giving them the lip service that they think, yeah, they're going to fight for us. The Republicans are going to fight for us, which they're not. I mean, the Democrats, they both don't give a shit about anyone. Look, I've converted, you know, conservatives and libertarians and center right people on this show. They come on this show, they ask questions in the chat, and I talk to them, and they're like, wow. And when you come at a conservative and you start with, this is how awful the Democratic Party is, then they'll listen.
Yeah.
Then they'll listen and go, and it's just the same with the Republicans and Trump. And you tell them that, and they go, well, you go, no. I just told you the Clintons are awful. They all need to go to jail. Like, they'll like open up to that. And I don't know. There's the neoliberal. I don't know when they're gonna.
Well, it's a populism, right? We need to go after, because there's a rising populist movement that's happening right now, and it's because we all realize we're getting screwed. No matter where you fall on the left or right. We're all getting screwed. I'm not saying that I'm going to give in and support racism, obviously not.
Right.
But I think that on a lot of issues like foreign policy, some libertarians are like, oh, they're like, yeah, let's stop wasting money on these endless wars. Let's let's talk about the Fed. Like let's do these things that we don't do and have these discussions we don't have because of the hyper partisanship that's been built on a team blue or team red.
Right.
At the end of the day, we all get screwed under team oligarchy, under team corporate America. And so I think shows like this are also a good ways to have those discussions. And when you talk to a Republican and you start by talking about how awful Pelosi is and how awful Clinton is, they don't know where to put you.
No.
They're getting confused because what they hear on Fox News is that you're all a bunch of communists and Kamala Harris is a communist.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, that's ridiculous. Fox News is just as fake news as CNN is. But of course CNN is, and a lot of the liberals don't want to admit CNN is fake news, but it is. So
yeah,
that's what we need to do.
It's like when the conservatives hear us laugh when they call Joe Biden a Marxist, and we go, no, he's a Republican, and we point that out to them. They go, I go, no, he's not a Marxist. I wish he was.
Yes.
I wish the nominee for the DNC was a Marxist. That would be fucking rad. I mean, I'd be way down with that. But it's like there's no earthly way that he is a I said this. He's a Republican. He's always been one, and the Republican Party has just moved so far to the right that now he's a half an inch to the left of them, barely. Like, which has been the whole Clinton policy has been like, let's just be a millimeter to the left of the Republican Party, and yay, liberals. So yeah, it's going to take populism. It's going to take some sort of unity. It's going to, and if the populism unites progressives and libertarians and working class people, especially like working class people of color and working class, whites who tend to be more conservative, if that group gets unified, then who gives a shit if a handful of college educated assholes in LA and New York still want to vote for their rich person party because it's got a rainbow flag? Yeah,
exactly.
Which is all they want to do. All right. Where can people follow you online, Fiorella?
Fiorella_IM on Twitter. I'm always on there. Or the Convo Couch. Take a look, subscribe to our channel. We pretty much either go on the road or we live stream 5 times a week. So on either end, we've been on the road this past week and a half. So we will be going back to our live streams. But check us out, the Convo Couch on YouTube.
Well, thank you so much, Fee. Really appreciate it. And thanks for the work you guys are doing. Thanks for going down to Florida and reporting back firsthand how corrupt Debbie Wasserman Schultz is.
Yeah. She doesn't get any better. So we have 2 more years to unseat her. And that's the thing. Like, I think if we can find an opportunity to really start building up these third parties or these outside voices that don't get any attention because people are too busy reforming the party, I think we can actually do something. So thank you for having me, and thank you for the work you do. Appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thank you, Fee. We'll see you soon.
All right. Bye.
Bye-bye. Fiorella from the Convo Couch, ladies and gentlemen. Want to give a shout out to Deborah Duville. Deborah, thank you so much for supporting the program. I'll answer some super chats. We did Vera Ramayo. Thank you, Vera. Shave your knuckles for justice. Matt S. Shave your knuckles for justice, Matt. Are there things you could honestly admit Trump did well that a progressive candidate could not? Kind of a stretch, but just curious. I haven't seen him. He's just as corrupt as the Democrats. So he's opened up a lot of public lands, and then to his conservative, he has a lot of people that are hunters that are, that tend to be more conservative, right? People who are hunt and, use a crossbow or a gun or whatever, hunting, fishing, tend to be, not always, but tend to be more red state folks. He opened up public lands to hunting, and that's been so great. But then of course, and they say, oh, see, he's good for the environment. He did that to open it up for drilling. So that's all bullshit. I mean, when he said he was going to pull us out of Syria, I was like, good. I want American troops to come home. I don't want them in any war. I don't like Trump. And I'm glad. And then it was like, oh, he's going to destabilize the region. Like, oh, because they like war. It's like crazy. When he was trying to broker peace with Putin and North Korea, Putin is that they're an atomic power. Like one detonation and we have atomic winter. It's over. Like it's over. Oh, folks, I gotta take this call real quick. This is an important call. I'm gonna mute my microphone and I'll be right back. Whoops, there it is. Sorry, forgot to. I was on mute. Sparky, shave your knuckles for justice. Fiorella didn't have to get all dialed up for me. She's a pro. She always looks good. That's what I was saying. Thank you so much for supporting the show. I'll read a couple more super chats. Sorry, I was muted. Whew, silent. We did it. We saved it, Sam Dean. CIA took it out. There's sound now. There is sound now. I know you can hear me now. I know you can. Goddamn spinach cartel. The spinach cartel. Oh, no sound now either? No, there's sound. There's sound now. I think there is still sound. There is sound now. There's still no sound? What? How is that possible? They're kidding me. Oh, they're doing a joke. I knew it. I know what the thing says. The thing says I got sound, so I got sound. Boom, boom, boom. Thank you, Chimchuri. Yeah, the goddamn chat is behind. All right, let's read some. Zach, so we were talking about Matt S's. There are things. Yes, we answered that one. Thank you, Matt, for supporting the show. Zachary Tietjen. Zachary, thanks for coming and supporting. Appreciate it. Shared a post from Fiorella on Facebook, and my grandma called her a secret Republican. Oh, and I called Pelosi shitty, and she said that that she's the best, and I'm naive. Oh boy. Yeah, but look again, the age. I don't want to be too ageist because I'm 51, but people in their mid 40s and up, there's plenty of people who watch the show, but I've just know percentage wise, and there's millennials and Gen Z that are like, yay, Kamala, but the people who were raised on corporate media, it's harder to get them off of that. And those of you who are, and I know there's people of all ages that watch the show, and I love it, and I thank you. And we all have family members and friends of all ages that are just like, no, this is I know it, and it's a bummer. But they watch the DNC, and they don't ask questions. They've lost their critical thinking. It's unbelievable. Emblem Fate, shave your knuckles for justice. Pan-Africanism. I want all of us to be able to go home. Africa is blacks' home, then culture. We can't go home if the Dems bomb us when we succeed. Yeah, I know. They like bombing everybody. David, shave your knuckles for justice. The stock market has been on welfare since 2008. Bush, Obama, and Trump welfare kings bailout. No, it's absolutely true. It's absolutely true. As I'm doing more reading about cryptocurrency and watching YouTube videos on crypto, I'm really seeing how much this just unbelievable. Like right now we're in a depression, and they're like, the stock market's doing great. Like, for the 1%, it's crazy. Concussions. Would you let your kids play football now? Absolutely. No way. If I had a son, there's no way I'd let him play football. No way. No way. Emblem Fate, shave your knuckles for justice. Trump's canceled TPP. That's one just being fair. Well, sure. Graham should watch the Kaiser Report. I've watched some of the Kaiser Report. That's another. If you want to learn more about crypto, Max Kaiser on the Kaiser Report on RT, he does a great job. I started watching this woman, Crypto Casey. So, yeah. Sam Dean, shave your knuckles for justice. Breaking: Kanye has not submitted his application in the required time and will not be on the general election ballot for Wisconsin. The vote was 5-1. So funny. So funny. Even that disaster is like unreal. So I wanted to. No, I didn't freeze, assholes. That's where the mic is muted joke. Product placement for Big Kale. Kanye is posting about sneakers on Twitter now. He's not interested in running anymore. Yeah, he just did that to move some sneakers. Thanks, Kanye. Way to get after it, pal. There's a corn shortage going on that can't be that can't be good. No, not good at all. Christopher Dobby, what's up, Christopher? Thank you for supporting the show. Shave your dog for justice. You should check out Professor Steve Keen. Oh, good to know. I just found a new channel today. So I read that book numerous times. I just read it again, Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. He wrote that book in like 1995, 96 or somewhere in there. And he's written a bunch of books, and I've read a lot of his books, and I read it again, and it makes a lot of sense. He now has a podcast called The Rich Dad Radio Show, and he puts clips on it. He has a YouTube channel, and I started watching it, and he's interviewing. Because the thing about Rich Dad Poor Dad, he's a diehard capitalist, like make as much money as you can, but he's always about learning and getting new ideas, and he's always like, educate yourself. And he's like, guys my age, Warren Buffett and them think cryptocurrency is a joke, and they're wrong. And he brings on all these younger crypto people to talk about it. And it's really great to watch that one, because he's got all this history of making money in real estate and investing and thinking outside the box. So he brings this wealth of knowledge and experience to this brand new space of crypto, and he loves it. He's just like, crypto is awesome. So there's not a lot of like older guys that have made a lot of money traditionally. And he's like so critical. He's like, the Federal Reserve is corrupt. Our leaders are corrupt. Both parties are corrupt. He's just like, and I love when he says that, but he's like, watch that show. Like, he's talking about Bitcoin's going to go through the roof and all this other stuff. So, but I will check out Steve. What's up, Truth to Tweet? You want Granny Petrol to shake her groove thing? Well, she just might. She just might, young lady. Emberg 33, shaving knuckles for justice. I wasn't joking. I was just really delayed. That's funny. Hold on, there's a couple I missed up here. Sorry. JH got sick. Shave your knuckles for justice. Hi, Fiorella was right. Neither party wants to win. They want to hold on to enough power to fundraise for themselves and their pet projects. Yep. Exactly. Coin shortage is fake. Possibly. Sam Dean, shave your knuckles for justice. Rotate them for truth, Sam. You're making Gotham great again, just like my vegan guns are. You like my Batman shirt? It's a little looser. This is a large. I typically wear a medium to just go across my vegan gunness. Granny Petrol sings Hey Mickey as Hey Greta. Hey Greta, you're so fine. You're so fine. You blow my mind. Hey Greta. Hey Greta. That's funny. That might happen. We might make that happen. Christopher Dobby, better still interview him. Yeah, I will. I'll try to interview Professor Steve Keen for sure. Thanks for that, Chris. Tougher. Melissa H. What's up, Melissa? How you doing? Was raised on news when it was news. I see how far it's fallen. Investigative journalism is about dead. Kills me to see what corporations have done to news. No, it's awful. I mean, you remember, like, you really, like, I long for good investigative journalism, and it is not, I mean, it's the fact that this is like left up to people like me is unreal. Like, the corporate media is so bad that we need a comedian in a Batman shirt that talks about smoothies and surfing. It's unfucking real. Unreal. The figure of speech, greed, the entire government theme is hammering home what greed, that greed is a thing. Almost everyone is swallowing at that hook, line, and sinker. Good luck with that. Oh, hey, Mickey. The Xavier Knuckles thinks he's kind of old after a while. Joking. Love it. Thank you. Hold on. I sent another super chat about Discord. Emberg 33. I don't see that one. Oh, please help me make you a Discord server. Ah, shave your knuckles for justice, Emberg. I see it now. I don't. I'm so not tech. I have no idea how to do any of that, and I cannot take on another project. I support, but I can't. I mean, I love the idea, Mark, and I appreciate it, but that's not. You got to talk to a tech. I have no idea how to do any of that shit. I'm sorry, dude. I can't. I'm in the middle of a lot of stuff right now, so I can't do that. But thank you. I love the idea. I know what you want to do. I love the idea. Sparky, you're making Gotham great again. In the spirit of not assuming racism, the rebel flag meant rebelling against the establishment from 65 to 85. Example, Duke of Hazzards and rock bands. Yeah, of course. But like a lot of things then, it got co-opted. It was like, we're rebels. We're rebelling against the system. But then it got co-opted by like racists and the Klan saying, you know, yay, we wish there was still slavery. I mean, it's just hard to sit there, and not just as a black person, but just as a guy who grew up in the North and see this flag. You're waving the flag of the army that was trying to defeat the United States, the army that wanted slavery. I just don't know how you wave that flag around. I just that's how I've always seen it. And that's how black people have always seen it. So it's like, I get your point. And I'm sure there weren't people who legitimately were like, no, I'm just a rebel. I don't like slavery. I'm sure there was, or is even maybe, I don't know. But you got to, if everyone thinks that's what it is, you know, if the Batman symbol became like, I don't know, it got co-opted by some awful, you know, I don't know, like these billionaire sex traffickers were like, we're the Batman and we you know, we're pedophiles. I'd be like, okay, I'm not wearing this anymore. If this, and the people associated this with like, I would be like, I'm not wearing it anymore. I'd get rid of all my, I wouldn't, if somebody co-opted and hijacked what it meant, I wouldn't, if it was something that awful, like slavery, I wouldn't do it. You have to be aware of that. You know, I can't, I get what you're saying and I appreciate it. I really do. But that's just my opinion on that. Graham still here? Yep. Still me. In the midnight hour, she cried, mo, mo, mo. Okay, there it is. Jedi Mullet 77. What's up? Thanks for supporting the show. Oh, yeah, I heard about this story today. The corn supply is at 18 million bushels, no shortage. Only 1% feeds people directly, over 80% GMO, non-people corn. Yeah. Yeah. That's good to know that you're clarifying that for everybody, because they're like, oh, God, we're losing all of our corn, which could very well be happening. Look, a year ago, there was all the floods in the Midwest, the middle of the country, and it damaged the corn supply, and they only harvested 56% of the crop. But thank you for clarifying that. over 80% is GMO non-people corn. Yeah, the stuff they use for high fructose corn syrup and all the other corn-based products. Okay, thanks for explaining that to us. Watson Malthrop, shave your knuckles for justice. If a Republican starts a war in a forest when a tree falls, do Democrats hear the tree fall before or after supporting the war? They'll hear the tree after they support the war. They totally support the war, and then they say, "Oh, he's bad for the environment." But we're all good with war, and war is great for the environment. Oh, it's great. It's great for people. It's community building. It's fantastic. It's great psychologically on both the victims and the perpetrators. Oh, it's just great. That's why the Democrats love it so much. Just like the Republicans. They love it. It's so great. God, those people at Jack Wagons. Jack Wagons. Wagons of Jack. Sparky, shave your knuckles for justice. Liberals co-opted the flag from the Klan. Establishment media gave it back to them. Just saying not to assume that everyone flying it is a racist. Okay, that's fair. Everyone flying it isn't a racist, but you have to be aware that that's how you're viewed when you wave it. So if you're like, hey, I'm not a racist, then I wouldn't wave that flag. That's just me. I wouldn't, because you're going to be called that. Because people associate it with, again, the history of that flag was the army that was wanting to keep slavery going. So you gotta I like wearing white sheets like a toga party, and I like wearing hoods because it's fun. You're in the Klan. People are going to assume you're in the Klan. I hear your point, but I'm just saying you cannot. If people were going to call you that, I'd think twice before waving it. Or if you're like, fine, I'm not a racist, but I like this flag is about rebel. You're going to have that conversation with a lot of people all the time. And I'm glad the NASCAR got rid of it because I like race car driving, but I would never go to NASCAR because I just felt like I'm not safe. It's not welcome. It's not welcome because it's all these people waving a flag that I view as racist. Rich Kane, shave your knuckles for justice, Rich. Graham, thanks for the great show that you do. Shout out to tractor driving farm girl. Hey, what's up? I hope you're well and staying safe in this pandemic. You got it. Shout out tractor driving farm girl. Thanks, Rich. And if you wear that flag, you'll attract racists too. That's a great point, Melissa. If you don't want to be viewed as, because if you wave it, there's going to be racists that are going to come and go, yeah, brother, that's what I'm talking about. They're going to say that. Like, that's going to happen. So you put that on your car, some people are going to get mad at it, and some people are going to go, yeah, and you're going to have white nationalists going, right on, you're one of us. And you're going, no, I'm not a racist. I'm just a rebel. They'll go, yeah, I got you, brother. We'll invite you to the next meeting. That's how they're going to look at that. Inside Jobs, 9/11, Pearl Harbor, Gulf of Tonkin, start of every war. Yeah, Pearl Harbor. I don't know that Pearl Harbor was an inside job, but I very much believe, and there's a lot of evidence to suggest this, that FDR knew it was coming and just let it happen. Pulled the senior staff out of Pearl Harbor. That's one of these things that's odd. All the high rank pulled them out of there. So all right, I got a segment here. We'll answer a couple more super chizats. And then we'll wrap up the show. Sparky, what's up? Thanks for supporting the show, Sparky. Shave your knuckles for justice. I don't advocate flying it today at all, but if you pull up a picture of someone at a race from 1972, it's not like they're wearing blackface. Sure. I get it. But you have to understand what it is today is what it is today. Look, the swastika is actually a symbol that's been in Buddhism for centuries, and Hitler inverted it. So since then, the Buddhists don't really put that symbol a lot out there. But if you go into parts of, I've gone to like Singapore and Indonesia and some old temples, you'll see this and you'll look up and go, Jesus, is that a swastika? Oh, that's right. That's a symbol that's been in Buddhism for centuries that Hitler took. The swastika, you can't get past it. And if I'm a Buddhist and I would never wear that Buddhist symbol on anything or put it in my home because I wouldn't want anybody to confuse me for a Nazi. That's the reality. And I could tell I'm blue in the face. No, it's Buddhism. It's Buddha. It's acceptance. It's love. And I consider myself a Buddhist. A Buddhist with vegan guns. Oh, yeah. Namaste that bitch. You see my point, though? Adam Gray, shave your knuckles for justice. Every war is based on a lie. Oh, somebody hates America. America's good for war. Boy, you don't like freedom, I guess. Yeah, every war is a lie. Every war is a lie. That's such a valid point. Yeah, I bought a shirt in India that had a crazy elephant design. Later found out there were good sized swastikas on the back. Could never wear that shirt. Yep. Sparky, shave your knuckles for justice. Fiorella said not to automatically assume racism. That's good, but good luck. Good luck with that. What branch? Probably Zen. That's the style of the Aishinryu. That's the samurai style that I studied. Are you still lucky enough to belong to a union? Why are they putting your money in the stock market? Wall Street is devoted to the complete destruction of organized labor. Tell your leadership to divest. Oh, nice. Graham, what are you doing for your vacation? I don't know. It might involve surfing. Yeah. I'm going to go to a remote place. I'm going to be a little cryptic and secretive. I'm going to go to a remote place and just going to zen it out, man. Just going to zen out. Just get in touch. Get in touch with everything. Cut to me at just like a Chuck E. Cheese. Woohoo! Playing skee ball, eating pizza and vomiting. Nudist resort. Yep, I'm going to Shimshay's Island. Is Shimshay a Buddhist? I never talk about that Jewish lobby. You mean APAC? I've talked about them before. Many times. Hello, everybody. My name is Graham Elwood, and you are watching The Political Vigilante. Rising up out of the ashes of Gotham comes the truth in the form of shaved knuckles, wrapped in a fist of vegan furious truth, coming to you at the edge of a vegan gun, comes Graham Elwood, the Political Vigilante. So we've been talking about how Trump really wants to get rid of the post office. The Republicans have been trying to get rid of the post office for 25, 30 years. Why? Because when UPS and FedEx came on the scene, it doesn't make a profit. Well, first of all, it's the postal service. It's a service. It's an amazing service. Anybody puts a letter in any mailbox, it goes anywhere into the country in 3 days. It's amazing. It's an amazing thing. As a small business owner, that's what I use. If you go to grahamelwood.com and shop at my store, like the Vigilante, the Dark Knight, there's only 20 some left, less than 20. Excuse me. I ship it using the post office. It's so easy. They've made it competitive. They've made it the priority mail. You can print labels at home on this with a barcode. It's quick, it's fast. Never wait in line during the holidays. Look, FedEx, UPS, great. It's free market. Let them be competitive. Fine. I get it. You want something, you run a business, you need documents shipped in a day. Great. The post office does a great job. But why is Trump trying to get rid of it? Well, first of all, he doesn't want mail-in ballots to lose, but also it's a profit. And we know Steve Mnuchin, our good friend Steve Mnuchin, the person he pushed in to be head of the Postal Service, has money tied in investing in UPS and FedEx. Weird. It's a cover-up. White House accused of hiding Mnuchin's role in recruiting Postmaster General DeJoy. Democrats obtained by a watchdog group reveal that Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin met with the Postal Service Board of Governors in February to discuss the search for a new Postmaster General. Chuck Schumer, wow, is he actually doing something? You useless waste of space, Chuck, on Wednesday accused the Trump White House of covering up the role of Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin played in recruiting Postmaster General Louis DeJoy, a major Republican donor with no prior experience working for the U.S. Postal Service. By the way, first time in the history of the Postal Service that they made the head of the Postal Service someone who's never worked in the Postal Service. Don't you think you'd want to? Usually it's like somebody worked up, they literally started as a mail carrier and worked their way up. This is why we have a kleptocracy run by oligarchs. The 1% ruling class, the Postal Service, they just got to, any way they can stick it to you. When you hear privatization, it is not going to make your life better. The Postal Service doesn't turn a profit. Neither does the fire department. Do you want to privatize the fire department? Let's imagine that for a quick second. Let's run our fire department the way we run, I don't know, our healthcare system. Your house is on fire. You get out of the house, but you have family members, and the fire department shows up and says, do you have firefighting insurance? We can't go in there. And they don't. Like people are denied at hospitals, denied health care, and they die. People have died. Amy Valea's daughter died. This happens all the time. 30,000 people a year die. It's happening right now with COVID. People are dying because they don't have health insurance. That should be a free service. That's a human right. Sending mail is a service. Imagine the fire department shows up, we can't put your house out. Or they put it out and then give you a huge bill. But the fire department's not making money. There's a for-profit firefighting service. Boy, if these rich assholes figure out a way to do that, you better believe it. And then you're going to have, if you live in a nice neighborhood, you'll have better fire trucks. The poor neighborhoods won't have them. Right now, thankfully, we have enough fire trucks in most cities, and I'm sure city to city you can make some arguments, but it's spread out. People want that service. But we're doing that with the post office. You can send a letter anywhere in anywhere in the 50 United States and its territories for 45 cents or 40, whatever it is. Priority mail ships anywhere in the U.S. and its territories. It's also free mail for military folks that are stationed abroad. I want the military folks to pay attention to this. You should be fighting for the post office. If they're an Army post office, APO, you put that, it ships free. And they can mail for free from anywhere. But we're going to get rid of that? Oh, awesome. So you're going to kill small businesses like mine. I have an online business, GrahamElwood.com. You can buy all my products there. So hurry, buy it now while I can still use the post office and keep it affordable. Right now I have free shipping. When that ends, I'm going to have to charge you $15 for shipping, and it's going to make my products either it's going to be too expensive for you to buy, or I got to cut into my profit margin, and I'm going to barely make any money because the most of the money that you're giving is going to FedEx or UPS. That's what they want. Just straight cronyism. Top Trump and GOP donor pick to lead the U.S. Postal Service in the time of crisis. President Trump rewards a partisan donor. Like the Democrats do this shit all the time. Trump's awful at it. Finally, they're like calling Trump out for something that like they should call him out for. And again, if you had a populist candidate like Bernie Sanders or some progressive like that, they could be like, I will save the post office if I'm elected. I will give you Medicare for all. I will bring back the pandemic task force. I will stop spending trillions of dollars on these ridiculous wars, and I will give it to the American people. I will stop bailing out Wall Street for trillions of dollars, and I will give it to you to get us through this pandemic. That person would have a 25-point lead in the polls. But the Democrats want to lose because they make a lot of money on Trump's bad. And Trump is awful. This is an example of how awful he is. Okay, MAGA hat wearers, when the post office is taken away and there's hundreds of thousands of jobs, union paying jobs, veterans work for the post office, working class people, people of color, all ethnicities work for the post office. It employs hundreds of thousands of people across the country. Those jobs are gone. Is FedEx union? Probably not. I know UPS is union, but I know FedEx is probably not. New documents obtained by Crew, this is the whistleblower, show that Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin involved himself directly in the selection of the Postmaster General, Louis DeJoy, who then took steps that could undercut voting by mail, apparently to help the president. So this has been planned for a while. Oh, a pandemic shows up. Oh, you can't vote by mail now. And the Democrats will rightfully say rigged election, but they won't call out their own rigging. Jen Perlman just got cheated by Debbie Wasserman Schultz in Florida. That just happened during this ridiculous Democratic convention. A Democrat, a progressive, a young woman, Jen Perlman, cheated. Who cares though, huh? Kamala. In Mnuchin's letter to the Board of Governors, he had requested an analysis of the Postal Service pricing structure in the e-commerce ground package delivery market. He mentioned that FedEx experienced a decline in operating results because of the competitive pricing environment. So, the post office isn't profitable. It is. It's beating FedEx because that priority mail thing, you get free box, free shipping supplies, labels. It's done. It saves me as a small business owner money. When I have to buy boxes and shipping supplies, that goes into my profits, right? And I can drop this off at any post office, and they scan it, boop, boom, and you get tracking information. If you ever bought from me, you get sent an email saying tracking. This is true of all these small businesses. And the Postal Service, when they came up with this priority mail thing, like, I don't know, 10, 15 years, I was like, this is great. And it's gotten better. But they can't, FedEx and them can't let this happen. DeJoy owned between $265,000 and $550,000 in UPS stock. Oh, there's a shocker. Some 1% asshole is sticking it to regular people, and Steve Mnuchin's helping. You remember Steve Mnuchin, head of One West Bank, that donated to Kamala Harris's campaign to be Attorney General of the state of California. When she became Attorney General of the state of California, her office had 1,000 pieces of evidence showing flagrant mortgage fraud. They could have put Steve Mnuchin in jail. She said no and didn't do that. Then he donated to her senatorial campaign and she won, and she voted to confirm Steve Mnuchin. And now she potentially could be vice president. I bet you he'll have some type of job in her administration if she gets that far. At the very least, she will never prosecute Steve Mnuchin, who is then hiring this criminal asshole that wants to stick it. He has stock in UPS, so he doesn't want you, regular Americans. You voted for Trump. You voted for Hillary, you voted for whomever. This is how it works. You see that you're all mad at Mnuchin and Trump, as well you should be. Kamala Harris helped this happen. Her and Obama let One West Bank. They let 5 to 6. Now we're saying it might even be as close as 8 million foreclosures. Obama did nothing. He didn't prosecute. Steve Mnuchin should be in prison. This should have never been allowed to happen. If the 8 years of Obama, he's going to save us from the corruption of George Bush and the Republicans. He could have come in, sweeping banking reform like FDR did, and jailed all the bankers like they did in Iceland, because their bankers were utterly corrupt in Iceland and plummeted Iceland's economy into the tank. They jailed Iceland's bankers. Obama didn't do any of that. Kamala Harris didn't do any of that because both parties are complicit. So now, thanks to, once again, the ineffectiveness of the Democratic Party, one of Trump's idiot, psychopath, jackass losers is going to stick it to us. And now Chuck Schumer stands up. Now Chuck Schumer says something. Okay, great, Chuck. Always late to the party, aren't we, Democrats? He had between 265 and 550,000 in UPS stock when he was hired. So right there, that's not a candidate you hire. Which he divested upon starting as Postmaster General. Oh, I'm sure he didn't hide it in some like labyrinth of scammy, offshore, filthy 1%er accounts. Take them all out. Grease the 1%. Grease them. Grease them. Don't get mad. An immigrant didn't take your job. These people did. He maintained between 30 and 75 million in assets in other UPS, U.S. Postal Service contractors and competitors. DeJoy was selected as Postmaster General in May and in June became the first person in decades to lead the post office without prior experience as a letter carrier or working within the agency. In just 2 months leading the Postal Service, DeJoy's actions could potentially cripple the agency from within and sabotage voting by mail amidst a global pandemic. I'm a guy who runs a small business. I'm the guy who packs the envelopes, and I'm the guy who puts the mailing labels, and I'm the guy who drops them off at the post office. But he's gonna and when I lost all my road dates when the pandemic started in March, I scrambled, like we were all scrambling. And I had all this merchandise that I sell after my shows on the road when Ron Placone and I were doing the Progressive Comedy Tour, which has been shuttled until 2021, right? So I scrambled. I got my web designer, and in a matter of a couple of weeks, she did an amazing job. Her name is Sparky Pop. She's a great web designer. We get a store built really quick where I could sell all my products online. I already had shipping supplies. I'd already done this before with another website I ran for years, Comedy Film Nerds. We shipped thousands of products using the post office. And the number of problems we had, I can count on 2 hands in thousands of orders. The post office is on it. They got a great system. And so the first month, April, and we're all locked down. I got nothing to do. I'm filling orders. You guys were so great at supporting my store. And I'm buying shipping supplies from Staples and companies like that. So I'm supporting I'm keeping the economy going. You're keeping me going. That saved my ass. There's probably millions of Americans who scrambled, like had a retail store and then had to scramble to make it all online. And the post office is just easy to use. It's quick. It's effective. Boom, boom, boom. And they want to shut that down. Yet again, how Trump and his asshole buddies helped. And now the Democrats are wagging their finger at Trump after helping all of this happen. Here's some of the things that DeJoy did. He included cutting overtime, consolidating management power within the agency, changing policy related to the pricing of mail-in ballots, and removing mailboxes and sorting machines out of use. So he wants to stick it to small business owners and cheat in an election. And the Democrats who cheat in their own primaries, the UN said this, that all the last 2 Democratic primaries had all the earmarks of election tampering. That's what the UN said. And they're going to wag their finger at awful. Both parties are awful. Both parties are awful. Oh, man. I wish I was still hosting a game show. That's me hosting strip poker. Just wanted to put it in there. My name is Graham Elwood. Thank you for watching the show. Shave Your Knuckles for Justice. Go to grahamelwood.com and buy my products because I'm going to have to shut my store down soon because they're going to shut down the post office. Thank you so much for supporting the show. $378 people watching. Hit the like button, ladies and gentlemen. Hit the like button. What's up, Annabelle? Annabelle Corley, what's up? How you doing? Tim Tams for life, Annabelle. Just let me know where I need to send the violet crumbles. I will, Annabelle. I will absolutely do that. Sparky, shave your knuckles for justice. U.S. Post Office will deliver on Christmas Day. Yeah. And you know what else they added? They said the priority mail, which gets there in 2 to 3 days, and it's great. And then they have, then they even have like an overnight service too. We used the post office to ship internationally. On my old website, we shipped internationally. You had to fill out a customs form and stuff like that, but we shipped internationally. Oh God. They ship on Saturday they deliver. FedEx, Saturday delivery is a big hassle with FedEx. You were out of luck if you didn't have insurance. Shave your knuckles for justice, Sparky. You got that right. The intent is to speed up the Banana Republic. I know. Annabelle Corley, shave your knuckles for justice. Grandma's going to Hawaii and not coming back. That's what I would do, but I'm in lockdown. You never know. Not a lot of options. Yes, Fee was on fire telling the truth. Shave your knuckles for justice. Early fire departments were owned by insurance companies. Yeah, and then society went, that's bad for society. If people can't afford to have their homes put out, like the Chicago fire, the whole city burned to the ground. I mean, everything was built in wood back then. The whole city burnt to the ground. So they're like, that's bad. It's bad. That's why it's a public service. Are libraries profitable? Are public schools, are parks profitable? Is the street cleaning, are the garbage collection guys profitable? Profitable. All right, if we're going to hold everybody profitable, then the military, all of its waste, then let's cut that shit right now. Let's cut the military's budget first. But before we like, we don't have money for postal service, let's take it from the military for anything we can't afford. We're going to take it from the military first. Sorry, guys. 22 vets a day committing suicide, bombing 7 countries. Yeah, you're done. We're punching your ticket. It's over. You're done. You're not helping people. You're causing mayhem and you're wasting American taxpayer dollars. We're done. We're pulling it. You're done. You're fired. We're cutting your budget in half. You're done. You're furloughed. Sit down. Yeah. Practice reveille. Do some push-ups, but you're not getting any more money. Sparky, shave your knuckles for justice. With or without mail-in voting, there's always plenty of election fraud to go around. Just ask your girl, Debbie Wasserman Schultz. Yeah. Oh yeah. There's some. They've got every angle of cheating covered. Any way they can cheat you, they're gonna figure it out. Make sure I didn't. Jedi Mullet 77. Trump isn't racist. He hates everybody equally. Spargay, shave your knuckles with justice. I didn't say fly it nowadays. We agree on that. Yeah, that's back to the Confederate flag discussion. Thank you. I think we got all of them. Hold on, there's a couple more super chats. Couple more super chats. Where'd they go? Sparky, that's why I said you were shit out of luck without insurance. Oh, that's what I meant. You were talking about if you didn't have firefighters insurance back in like the 1800s, then you were out of luck. Okay, thank you for that. Thank you for clarifying that. Thanks, brother. Melissa H, what's up, Melissa? Wonderful woman at my PO post office celebrated 50 years of the post office. That's the other thing too. I remember as a kid growing up in Madison, Wisconsin, our local postal care, we all knew him. And in the summer, the neighbors would give him water, whatever. We little kids, we'd have lemonade and Kool-Aid stands, and he'd come by and buy from us, and we all knew him. I still do that to this day. I say hi to my postal care. Hey, how you doing? When I see him, I say hi to him every day. The little post office by me where I drop off your orders and where my PO box is, there's a guy in there I see all the time. And on his lunch break, he goes walking around the beach, and I'll be on my bike and I'll say hi to him. I like that. That's why it's your neighborhood post office. It's you feel like a part of a community. Like, I like that. I like seeing this. Say, how you doing? Come in. Here's the package. Yeah, it's great. Like, even with the mask and everything, I like that. Your postal carrier came to your house, knocks on your door. How you doing? Everywhere I've lived, I knew my postal carrier. When I lived in Van Nuys, I had this house, and it was a woman, and she'd come by, and we'd talk, and if you're thirsty, whatever. And I was, oh, you cut your hair. Like, it was like, I've always done it, because that's how I grew up in that little neighborhood where you said hi to your postal carrier. I liked living in that. Then that's what the post office. So bad. Annabelle, can you bags me a bit of Hawaiian Island while you're there? Don't ask much, do I? You got it. You got it, Annabelle. Graham, will you be at the Movement for a People's Party event on August 3rd with Jimmy Dore? Do you think this party will become a real alternative to the Rupebs and Doms? They haven't invited me yet, to my knowledge, but I hope they do. I got a lot of respect for the movement. I like what they do. If Jimmy's going to be there, that's really cool, man. Yeah. All right, I got to roll, folks. Let's sing a song. Graham, seriously, when do we get a shirtless stream? My wife gets annoyed because I say hi, good morning to everyone I encounter. Well, that's a good thing. That's how you should go through the world. Say, how you doing? I like that. I like being friendly to people, strangers. I like that. I like living in a community where people do that. That's what I want. That's why I want the world to be like. Malcolm Marzo, Shave Your Knuckles for Justice. Thank you for your service from a veteran of the Vietnam War crime, giving them hell. Thank you, Malcolm. I appreciate that. And thank you. The correct term is postal worker. Okay. Sparky, shave 'em. Post office is for federal connection with the public. Yeah, I know. All right. What were we going to sing? Oh, we're going to sing. The correct term is a letter carrier. Okay. I think, was it Granny Petrol singing Oh, Mickey, You're So Fine? I think that's what we're going to do. That's right. That's what Truth to Tweet asked for. Hey, Greta. All right. Oh, Mickey, You're So Fine. As Granny Petrol. I'll be right back. Hello, it's Granny Petrol. I guess we want someone to sing. They wanted me to sing. Well, we're going to find a delightful song that people will enjoy so much. It's Oh, Mickey, You're So Fine. Let's put this up there.
Help bring sports back.
Oh, I don't want to listen to that man. I don't want to listen to that man at all. Here we go. This song is for our little friend, Greta. Oh, Greta, you're so fine. You're so fine. You blow my mind. Hey, Greta. Hey, Greta. Oh, Greta, you're so fine. You're so fine. You blow my mind. Hey, Greta. Hey, Greta. Oh, Greta, you're so fine. You're so fine. You lie all the time. Hey, Greta. Oh, Greta, you like to spread lies around. You don't like the truth. That's why you are a spinach clown. Oh, Greta, why do you spend that time on the boat? You swear you don't like school, Greta. And you hate adults, you hate adults. You've been out all round, that's a little wrong. You think you've got that right, but I think you got it wrong. Well, can you say goodnight so you can take me home, Greta? Because when you say you will, always means you won't. That's why you lie, Greta, on your crazy boat. Tonight you still leave me all alone, Greta. Oh, Greta, what a pity you don't understand. You close down pipelines and you think it's grand. That's why you're such a liar. You drink the spinach, Greta. That's why you lie, Greta. Big Kale tells you what to think, Greta. That's right, Greta. Science tells us, Greta, that there's no such a thing as climate change. That's why you wear that ring. You tell children that adults are bad. I think you are a mole from the big old spinach lobby made you lie. That's why you never eat coal pie. Little children like to play in coal mines, Greta. Oh, Greta, you're a liar, every day you lie. The big kale lobby gives you hail pie. Why don't you tell the truth and say oil spills are fun? They're like a water park, Greta. They're like a water park. We have so much fun them. Hey, Greta, you're science. Oh, so Greta, you're so lying, Greta. Hey, Greta. Oh, Greta, you keep lying. The Salad Consortium says you're lies. You're lies. Oh, Greta, you're so fine. You blow my mind. Hey, Greta. Greta, you don't understand that the pipelines are good and they keep the local people working. You like to spew the lies of the Big Kale Consortium. The organic fruit mafia, they own you. Greta, why do you keep on lying? Greta, oh Greta. Oh, Greta, why do you spew those lies? The oil companies are good people, Greta. That's why children want to work in coal mines all day. That's right, Greta, get off that boat. Stop being mean at adults all the time. Get off that school strike, go back to school. You should smile more, Greta. Instead you're angry, Greta. Turn that down upside down. Thank you, everybody. Penny Petrol. I would normally drop the mic, but I don't want Graham to get all angry every time there's a microphone problem. He gets his little panties in a bunch. So we're just going to shut this down.
For my meal kit delivery,
I don't want to listen to that person talk at all. Not at all. What's up, citizens of Goth? Boom. Very pleased. Massive oil spill. Ugh. Eat. You should smile more, Greta. You absolutely should smile more. Now I can't unsee Andy Warhol. Oh. Yes, that was Sam Dean's idea. Annabelle Corley, shave your knuckles for justice. Being in lockdown makes Granny Petrol stoking my fire a great prospect. Oh, so great. Thank you, Sam Dean, for suggesting that. And Truth to Tweet is backing that up. I'd frack that. Oh, Granny, she's delightful. Thank you so much for watching the show. Mad props to Fiorella for coming on the show. I will be live again tomorrow with Lee Camp, 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern, doing government secrets. And I will also answer your questions after we do that. Usually government secrets is like an hour because that's all the time Lee has. And then I answer the super chats after that. So we'll see you tomorrow night, folks. Like, share, subscribe. And the tea, Vigilante at GrahamElwood.com. We're running out of them, so get them quick. Going to shut it down before I go on vacation. Thank you all so much for supporting the show. Shave your knuckles for justice.